The following production is brought to you by the Talkin' Buds Leaf Show.
Here we go. Talkin' Buds Leaf Show, episode 285. Coming at you after game 82. Ryan, we made it through another 82. We always talk about strapping in for 82. We did it.
That's how I feel. That's how I feel about myself after I watch 82 games. Slow clap.
It's a grind. There's no two ways about it. It's a grind. We love it, but it's a grind. To be completely honest with you, I had zero intention of coming on here tonight and talking about Game 82 whatsoever. But I do think we should take a minute to discuss how that game ended, with Chris Tanev tying it up at 3-3 with 1.8 seconds left, and then Scotty Lawton getting the OT winner, and this team remaining the 3-on-3 overtime GOATs.
Yeah, good vibes, man. That's all I got to say about the end of that game. I know that game meant absolutely nothing, and at some point they were down. It looked like it was just going to throw in the towel, but I don't know. I think I don't think there's any downside in coming back and winning that game, and depth guys scoring and Scotty Lawton getting off the schneid, and yeah, it was a fun ending, and I think it's fitting to cap off the good season that they have and go into this first round series with good vibes.
All right, so we are here tonight to discuss the upcoming Battle of Ontario, give our take on it, give our predictions, and then in the second half of the show, we're going to go through each playoff series and just predict a winner and in how many games. I'm going to start us off. You ready for this? I have thought, since everything got wrapped up and confirmed on Tuesday night, I've been sitting here thinking about this series nonstop. And you've said to me, you're pretty stoked about it. It's just something new. It's something fresh. It's the renewal of an epic rivalry in the early 2000s. Lots of people discussing that, sharing memories about it. You know, the thing about watching those old clips that just makes me so sad? It's just, and no disrespect to anyone doing it now. I think Chris Cuthbert is one of the best ever, but Bob Cole on those calls, it just has such a different feeling to it.
Yeah, it's just not the same. I have a hot take for you here.
Okay.
I'm a little sick of hearing about those playoff series this week.
Agreed. It's been way overkill. It's been way overkill.
A child when those series were going on, and it was a lot of fun. That was a long time ago.
Yes.
And just shut up about it at this point. I'm so tired of hearing about it.
What happened back then has absolutely no bearing.
No.
Like all these people who are like, don't take those memories away from us. It's like, guys, that was like 20 years ago. Like you got to move on.
Yeah.
That's that is no different.
It was
still
overkill. It was overkill this week with the whole let's get Gary Roberts and Stumpy and
it was
everybody.
Overkill.
Yeah. So I I'm not thinking about that. Like this is a whole different ball game, as we know, with these guys. Whole different ball game.
All right, I'm gonna come out of the gate hot here. Okay, I'm gonna come out of the gate blazing hot. You ready?
Yeah.
As I said, for the last 48 hours, I've thought about this playoff series up, down, left, and right. I said for months on this podcast that this potential matchup with Ottawa terrified me because I don't know how you come back from losing to the Ottawa Senators, and it would just be it would be a sickening moment for this version of the Toronto Maple Leafs. As we sit here right now, this is my take. There is absolutely no good reason why the Maple Leafs should lose this series. I am not going to disrespect the Ottawa Senators. They're a good hockey team. They're going to give the Leafs everything they have. They deserve to be here. They had a good season. But at the end of the day, one of these teams is in their 9th straight year in the playoffs. another one of these teams is in the playoffs for the first time since 2017 or something?
Yep.
2016. There is no one of these teams won the Atlantic. Another one of these teams is a wild card team. There is no good reason why the Maple Leafs should lose this series. This is not the Florida Panthers. They're not going to be as heavy as the Florida Panthers. They're not going to be as on top of you as the Florida Panthers are. Austin Matthews, Mitch Marner, William Nylander, Matthew Nyes, John Tavares should have more space to move around in this series than ever before. Ever before. So there is no, and I don't even want to hear about Linus Ullmark, okay? This is a team that eliminated Andrei Vasilevsky from the playoffs. So I don't want to hear about goalies either. There is no reason why the Leafs should not win this series. Your thoughts on that take?
Yeah, I think it's a good take. And I would classify this series in the grand scheme of things as a win-win scenario. The first win is what you just said right there. You are going in against a team who's unproven. You're getting away from the Boston, Tampa, Florida. You're getting a fresh matchup. You're coming off a great season. You're playing an inexperienced team. I don't care about if somehow this team makes Linus Ullmark a GOAT. I'm going to be so pissed off about that because he's not a GOAT. He's a gettable goalie. His playoff numbers are garbage. He's not an elite guy. So you're right on that. But you can also look at it the other side. If they don't win this series, that there's no excuse really why they shouldn't. This isn't the big bad Bruins. This isn't Tampa who's won cups. This isn't Florida who's won cups. This is a inexperienced hockey team who's never been here before. There is zero excuse not to win this. And if they don't win this series, then
it's bye-bye.
The decisions that need to be made in the offseason are going to be a lot easier to make, in my opinion. So to me, this is, I mean, we've said this before. We said this 4 years ago. But to me, with this management, with this coaching staff, this is the tipping point right here, is winning this series and having a playoff run where we can look back on and go, they're not good enough to win the Stanley Cup, but they left it all out there and they didn't do what they always do and just wilt and disappear.
Now, in defense of the Ottawa Senators, another thing I've been thinking about these last couple of days is I think we as a fan base spent the better part of the last month just praying to God that the Leafs would not get the Florida Panthers in the first round. And we focused almost entirely on that. And we looked at Ottawa as at least we on this show have never been of the opinion that they're just going to walk through Ottawa. I mean, as much as you and I both just said there's no reason why they should lose this series, we're also not idiots. The series is going 7 games.
Yeah.
It's 100% going.
And I'm also
games.
not saying that the Leafs are going to win this series either.
You're saying on paper,
everything.
There's no excuse why they shouldn't.
Yeah, like everything you laid out, exactly what you just said. You've sat and thought about this series for a certain amount of time. And when you do that, you just go, there's no excuse. I don't care about the goaltender or the net. I don't care about their captain. I don't care about their defense. I don't care about their coach. This is a team. If you are a serious hockey team, you are beating this team in the first round. I don't care if it's in 4 games. I don't care if it's in 7 games. You just have to get this done. You have to.
Let's try and get in the Senators' heads right now. So as I just said, we as a fan base have spent the better part of the last month just praying to God that the Leafs would avoid the Florida Panthers. If you'd asked the Ottawa Senators in the lead up to this, Ryan, who do you want to play in the playoffs? Who do you think they would have said?
Yeah, 100%. Every team would have said the Leafs. I don't think there's one team in the Eastern Conference who would. Maybe the Devils are like the weakest team in the East, but if you even the Habs, ask the Habs who they'd want to play to. Like ask Florida who they'd want to play. I think they would all choose them.
If you're Travis Green and you're gathering the team around at practice, what are you saying to them?
I think it's pretty simple what Travis Green is saying to these guys. Finish every check. Take away the middle of the ice. Do not give 16 any space to operate and make plays and frustrate 88. That's pretty much where you got to start right there.
And conversely, I would also say if we go into their barn on Sunday night and we get a W, they're going to tense right up. This team is one wrong move and these guys are going to start freaking out.
Yeah.
The reason why you said earlier every team wants to play the Leafs in the first round, that's why.
Yeah.
Because they know if they go in and have success, the Leafs they're going to get in their own heads.
I honestly think if you're a betting man, I would bet the Ottawa Senators in the first game.
Really?
Yeah, I would.
Why do you say that?
I would do game one Sens. I mean, if you were smart, you'd probably do Sens series because they're pretty good underdogs. But I think that's gonna happen. I don't know. Like I think in the first game, I could see them losing and having to be another hurdle for them to overcome. I could see it happening. I don't know.
Well, and if conversely, if you're the Leafs, I think it's Craig Berube's job, and I think they were talking about this on the radio today, and I agree with them. I think Berube's done a really good job of any time any of the past playoff failures have been brought up, he's been like, that's in the past. I don't care about that. Yeah. His job is to get these guys locked in on this. Don't worry about what's happened. Focus on your next shift. Focus on the next play, and it's play your game. Like you look at the Senators roster, okay? Brady Tkachuk is going to be doing everything he can to get under your guy's skin. Dylan Cousins is going to be doing everything he can to get under your guy's skin. Ridley Gregg is going to be doing everything he can to get under your guy's skin. Like this is the Senators. If you remember the last game they played, the Senators won all 3 games against the Leafs this year. And the last game they played, they kicked their ass.
Yeah.
Like it's the Senators know the recipe to beat the Leafs. And they're a team that has so... like the fact of the matter is with this series, barring the Leafs sweeping the Senators, if Ottawa loses, they're just going to go, hey, you know what? We had a great year. We made the playoffs. We took the next step. And we came up against a division winner. We'll come back next year. Going to make a few tweaks to the roster, step in the right direction. If the Leafs lose this series, blow it up, fire Shanahan, let Marner walk, let Tavares walk, remake the disaster. So at the end of the day, it is factual to say that all of the pressure in this series is on the Leafs.
Literally not 1 ounce of pressure on the Ottawa Senators.
And that's why that was the thing about this matchup that I think had me and some other people kind of nervous is if you played Tampa and Florida in the first round, the reality is, especially with Florida, no one would have picked the Leafs to win that series. No one. Yeah. So they would have been underdogs. And then with Tampa, I think it would have been kind of a pick-em type vibe and the Leafs match up well against Tampa. So long-winded. It's Craig Berube's job to keep these guys focused and play the game that they've played this year, which has helped them have success. That's capitalize on your chances. That's getting good goaltending from Anthony Stolarz. That's like you're gonna have to win battles along the boards. You're gonna have to like try and get to the middle of the ice. You're gonna have to play well defensively. Your special teams can't go in the fucking toilet. If Ottawa takes a penalty, you have to capitalize. If you take a penalty, you have to kill it. Like all the things that have killed them. Don't take dumbass penalties, Max Domi, like all the things that have killed them in previous playoff series, you have to avoid from happening.
And I think all those reasons too is why this playoff series is also perfect for them, because it's just, this is it. Like this is like technically this is the best route you're going to have to like get past the first round and possibly get past the second round. Like I love it. I absolutely love the situation it puts them in. It puts all the pressure on them, and the pressure should be on them.
Yeah.
They've created this monster themselves. So it's their opportunity here. They've put themselves in a great position to be successful. So like I think it's a perfect matchup. I love it. I think it's really going to either just completely catapult this team into looking good. Maybe they've matured and moved on, or it's going to send them in the complete other direction, being like, you can't even beat the Sens. You can't beat Boston. You can't beat Florida. You can't beat Montreal. Like it's over. It's time to move on. So I think it's a good moment for this franchise to say we're going here or we're going here.
Where are you at in this moment on the Brady Tkachuk factor? Because when we talked about this series in the past, you've said Brady Tkachuk is going to be a menace out there.
Oh yeah,
so
a nightmare.
Yeah. So where are you at with that?
I'm terrified.
I don't think Brady Tkachuk is the most intelligent hockey player walking the face of the earth, and I think there's a way here that he's going to be so jacked up to be in the playoffs. And I say that with all due respect. I'm not trying to be a dick. Basically, what I'm trying to say is I think Brady Tkachuk's a very emotional guy, and I think he's going to be fired up to be in the playoffs. Yeah. And I think there's a way that you can maybe use that against him and don't get sucked into anything he's going to do. And the same goes for their other guys too. Like a guy like Ridley Gregg is going to be taking shots after the whistle. They're going to be trying to get Stolarz off his game. They're going to be doing all kinds of stuff. And the Leafs don't necessarily have the guys to respond to that. Like they've got OEL who will muck it up a little bit.
Yeah, I think they have a better committee of guys who are willing to like do something at least. Yeah. No one's going to be fight. No one's going toe to toe with Brady Tkachuk in this series. There's no way. But I think by committee, they're a team that isn't nearly as soft as they used to be. So
yes,
I don't know. Like I just know from experience that players like this who are skilled, who are tough, who can change the momentum of a game based off a hit or a fight or whatever. I just seen the Leafs struggle against a guy like this so many times. So that's why it makes me nervous. But at the same time, Brady Tkachuk is a completely unproven playoff performer. Like we don't know what this guy's going to bring. I think he's going to be out there in the first game, like with his head cut off, running around. But I don't know. We'll see as the series goes on. But I think we'll see if this version of the Maple Leafs can handle a couple of guys running around acting stupid, or if they're just going to cower. And I just don't see a team with Chris Tanev on the ice cowering. You know, like I feel like there's better guys out there now who are just not going to put up with any shit. They're not going to go toe to toe with them, but after the whistle, when sticks and gloves are flying around, they're not going to take any shit. And I don't think Anthony Stolarz is the type of guy who's going to get his game thrown off by anybody. Or
how much stock do you put into the Sens not having playoff experience?
I don't
like
know.
How much? Because
I think if they're playing the Florida Panthers, I'm putting a lot of stock into it. But the fact that they're playing the Toronto Maple Leafs, I don't put any stock into it.
I 1,000% agree, because I think if you're playing it, like, sure, the Leafs have playoff experience, but it's all bad. It's all bad, except for the beating Tampa. Every time this team has the only, I quote, positive experiences this group has had in the playoffs is the very first year when they lost in 6 to Washington, where they were in Ottawa's position that the Senators are in now, where it was just feeling good, and then eliminating Tampa. But every other playoff series these guys have been in has ended in disaster.
Yeah. Yeah, there's honestly not a lot of reason to have confidence. I don't want to come on here and start proclaiming that they're going to win this series. But yeah, I mean, really, we all should be a little bit terrified, I think. Like there's no two ways about it.
Anthony Stolarz in his last 8 starts, 8-0-0, 950 save percentage, 3 shutouts. That is as good as you want your goalie playing heading into the playoffs.
The Leafs beat the Tampa Bay Lightning with Elias Samsonov. You know, like sometimes I'm thinking, are we kind of getting too pumped up about the goaltending? But you throw out those numbers and you think about what they've had. Jack Campbell,
yeah.
I can't even play in the league.
Guy's out of the league, man.
Elias Samsonov is not a starting goaltender in this league.
No.
Like this is 100% the best goaltender that they have had since Freddie Anderson. Freddie Anderson obviously let people down, but at least in the regular season, he was the number one guy who can get the job done, and you had some confidence in him. But this is, if you think about the last couple of years, Samsonov, Campbell, Like I don't think this guy's nobody's gonna throw this guy off his game. He's a monster. I think he's hit that point in his career where he's an older guy. He finally got his opportunity, and now I think look at his numbers over the past 2 seasons. Even though he's not playing 50 games, it's pretty elite stuff. So I mean, he could be the ultimate. Here's what I do know: the first 10 minutes of Game 1, the ice is going to be completely tilted, and it's going to be the Ottawa Senators just all over them. And it's going to be if number 41 can keep them in there and let them catch their breath for a second, I think that's going to be huge for them.
Do you think the Leafs have a chance to win this series if Austin Matthews and Mitch Marner have played the way they've played in previous playoff appearances? No. Okay.
No, I don't.
Yeah. Okay. Because, I again, this is why this comes back to my original point off the top of there's no reason why they should lose because, as I said, all due respect to the Senators, this is not the Florida Panthers. They're not going to check you the way the Florida Panthers are. Their blue line is nowhere close to as good as the Florida Panthers blue line.
The one thing I will say about the Sens when they play, because when you listen to people who do the regional Sens games, the way they talk about them is they're also a team that likes to just completely collapse defensively sometimes, and they have a lot of lapses. But when I've in their games against the Leafs this year, I find that they kind of overwhelm the Leafs with a little bit of speed and a little bit of forecheck. Mm-hmm. And I that also kind of scares me as well. So I mean, we'll see how it goes over in a 7-game series, but I think Ottawa's a pretty underrated. Like they could be a heavy team if they wanted to. So I mean, that also is a factor.
Yeah, but all right. So prediction time. Who wins?
God.
And in how many games? Do you want me to go first or you go first?
Yeah.
You want me to go first?
Yeah.
Leafs in 7. As my opinion is there should be no reason why they lose this series. So I'd love to say Leafs in 5, Leafs in 6. That's not how this team does things.
No.
There's going to be at least one game in this series where they are completely asleep and Ottawa takes it to them and gets a decisive win.
If they don't win in 6, then you are a bit concerned because they've never won a game 7.
It's true. But I am going to say they get the monkey off their back in this series. They win the series in 7 games.
Well, I just don't want to. I don't want to be that guy who picks the Sens. I don't want to be that guy. But I don't know.
Yeah, you can't do it.
I also don't want to be a fool. And I mean, I think the Leafs can win this series. I really do. And if they don't, then I'm not surprised either. So I'll go Leafs in 7 too. Oh no, I'm going to go Leafs in 6 because they can't win a game 7. If this game, all right. if they're up 3-2 and they're going into game 6, I'm feeling good. As soon as they lose that game or if that somehow they go into game 7, I have zero confidence at that point because they've never won. They've never won a game 7. So
okay. So there you have it, folks. I have Leafs in 7 and Ryan has Leafs in 6. The NBA 82-game grind is done, and now the real fun begins. The NBA playoffs are here, and it's time for all the high-stakes drama, clutch moments, and jaw-dropping plays.
I can't wait. If you're looking to make the playoffs even more exciting, DraftKings Sportsbook has you covered as an official sports betting partner of the NBA.
Try placing a bet on your favorite player's performance. Will they drop 30 points, 40, or more? It's your call.
Here's something special for first-timers. New DraftKings customers bet $5 to get $200 in bonus bets instantly.
Make it a playoff run to remember with DraftKings. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code THPN. That's code THPN for new customers to get $200 in bonus bets when you bet just $5. Only on DraftKings. The crown is yours.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort in Kansas, 21 and over. Age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/ice.
Moving on, we do throughout the year on our podcast, we don't really talk a lot about what's going on around the rest of the league. We kind of keep it Leaf centric unless there's like some big story. We'll chime in on it at the end or something. But this is always the one episode every year where we really kind of discuss what else is going on around the league. So obviously we're not going to get into in-depth analysis of these series, but I think we're going to go through each one of them and we're going to give our take on who wins and maybe why. So we're going to keep things in the East and we're going to start with the Carolina Hurricanes and the New Jersey Devils. I will go first. I am picking the Carolina Hurricanes in 5 games. The New Jersey Devils absolutely limped into the playoffs. They're extremely banged up. They are probably, if you look at this based on the way teams played after the Four Nations, they are the weakest playoff team of the bunch here. So I just don't see a world where they beat the Carolina Hurricanes. So I'm going Carolina in 5.
Yeah, I'll just piggyback that. I don't need to be different. I don't see the New Jersey Devils winning that series. So
poor Sheldon Keefe, man. Poor Sheldon Keefe. Next up, we've got the Montreal Canadiens, who finally clinched their playoff berth on Wednesday night, taking on the Washington Capitals. I'm about to blow your mind with my prediction for this series.
You're not the only guy doing this. So don't act like you're some smart guy.
I'm picking the Montreal Canadiens to win this series in 6 games.
I'm reversing that and going Caps in 6.
I think the Capitals are a bit fraudulent, and I think they got now. Granted, down the stretch, everyone on that team was focused on making sure Ovi broke Wayne's record, but I just think the Capitals are a bit fraudulent. I will happily come on here after and eat crow, and I'll also happily watch the Montreal Canadiens get eliminated. But I don't know. I just think that they're going to beat the Washington Capitals. I just have this feeling.
There's a lot of things I hate in this world. The Montreal Canadiens are pretty close to the top. Hate their fan base. Hate them. I love their building. I will say that they got the best building in the league. I can't chirp that. But there's just something about them and their magic and the way they just pull things out. It drives me nuts. But I think the Capitals are too big. I think the Capitals have a really strong, kind of big team that's well coached. And I don't know about the goaltending. The goaltending on both sides are pretty question mark. I don't think either team has an elite goaltender. So I think the Montreal Canadiens could win this series, but I'll do the reverse and I'll pick Caps in 6.
All right, good. So that way we're not just agreeing with each other. All right, here's a big one for you, buddy. The Battle of Florida, the Tampa Bay Lightning, and the Florida Panthers. This will be a series that I will be watching a lot of, hands down. This one, in my opinion, I've gone back and forth on this one because obviously I just, how we feel about the Florida Panthers, but are they healthy enough? The Lightning were a wagon down the stretch. The Lightning were an absolute wagon down the stretch, and are the Florida Panthers healthy enough? And right now, I'm not confident that they are healthy enough, and I think they've played a lot of hockey in the last 2 years. Yeah. So I'm going to pick the Tampa Bay Lightning to win this series in 7 games.
Yeah, me too. I have the exact same. I think if they played the Leafs in the first round, their experience and the way they play would be enough to get over that round. But which is weird because I think if the Lightning play the Leafs, that's the best case scenario for the Leafs. So it's kind of weird how all these teams kind of match up against each other. But I think the Lightning can find a way to win this series as well, especially if Vasilevsky plays well. And I think Florida could be out of gas.
Moving over to the Western Conference, we have the Winnipeg Jets taking on the red-hot St. Louis Blues. If you're a Winnipeg Jets fan, you're kind of nervous about this because the Jets are kind of in the same boat as the Leafs, where it's like, show me something in the playoffs. And now you've got a team that was red hot down the stretch that you're taking on in the first round. The battle of the Shen brothers. Who do we like in this series?
I like the Jets. I think the Jets are going to roll them.
Really?
I think so. I think the Jets.
You think the fairy tale run of the St. Louis Blues is about to come to a screeching halt?
Yeah, I hope so. I'm so bad at these predictions, but I'm going to go with the Jets. I think they have a really great hockey team. I think they're so deep. I think they're a great team. I think their goalie's finally going to show up. I think they're going to roll them in 5 games.
I'm going to also say Jets in 5. I think the St. Louis steals one, but I think the Jets lock in and take care of business. Do I think the Jets are going to make it to the Stanley Cup final? I don't know, but do I think they're going to win? They're going to get past the first round this year? Yes, I do. Yeah. Up next, we have got another marquee playoff matchup. For those of you who complain about the playoff format every year, this is the series that you'd be pointing to. You've got two teams that are legitimate Stanley Cup contenders meeting in the first round in the Colorado Avalanche and the Dallas Stars. Mikko Rantanen, who started the season as a member of the Colorado Avalanche, then to Carolina, now to Dallas, taking on his former team. So a great storyline there. Who do we like in this one, Ryan?
I'm going Avs in 6. This is a hot take. I think the Dallas Stars are one of the most overrated hockey teams in the league. I think they have a great roster. I think they have a really good team, but I don't know. I just don't think they're good enough to get it done. I think the fact that they couldn't beat the Oilers a couple of years ago, I don't know. I'm just not a big Dallas Stars guy. I just don't think they're a team that could win a Stanley Cup. I think the Avs weren't deep enough. I think they had to make some really tough decisions, and I think they improved their roster, and I think the Avs could go back to the Stanley Cup final this year after a couple of years away from it.
Here's my only concern with the Colorado Avalanche. We saw them twice down the stretch this year with when they played the Leafs. The Dallas Stars definitely have the edge in net.
Yeah,
Jake Ottinger is the better goalie.
Yeah, on paper, yeah.
But I'm with you. I love the Colorado Avalanche. I love what they did at the deadline. I've said I love their savagery. I love that they had the stones to look at Mikko Rantanen and say, we're not paying you that. Yeah, I love that. So I agree with you. I think Dallas is also kind of banged up. I'm going to go with the Avalanche in 7 games.
Yeah, I just think Dallas is one of those teams that they're a really good team, but I don't take them seriously as a cup contender. I don't.
Moving on, the next series that will rival Carolina, New Jersey for the series I'm going to watch the least amount of, the Vegas Golden Knights against the Minnesota Wild. The Wild are a wild card team. Vegas Golden Knights, top of the Pacific. My analysis of this series is Vegas is huge. They go to the second round conference final every year. They're winning this series, potentially in 4 or 5 games.
I'm going to go the Wild in 7 just because I feel like it.
Okay. All right. There you go.
I honestly, I'm going to just be completely honest here. I know I've watched a decent amount of Golden Knights hockey. There is not a team in the NHL that I find more boring than the Minnesota Wild. So I can't give you my top tier analysis on the Wild, but just to be different and just to see an upset, I'll pick the Wild in 7.
All right. This next series, the last one we're going to talk about here, to me is extremely interesting. This is the LA Kings and the Edmonton Oilers meeting again. The Oilers have owned this matchup every year. This year could be different, though. You have the LA Kings, who are one of the best home teams in the NHL, taking on the Edmonton Oilers, who are, you want to talk banged up. The Edmonton Oilers are banged up. In order for the Edmonton Oilers to win this series, you are going to need McDavid and Draisaitl to go God mode. And here's the thing, Ryan. If there are 2 guys who can go God mode and single-handedly win a series, it's these 2 guys. But I am going to be the contrarian, and I'm going to say at some point it's got to end. And I think everybody's banged up. I think the Oilers have played a lot of hockey when going to the Cup final last year. McDavid going to the 4 Nations. And I think the LA Kings get it done and eliminate the Edmonton Oilers. And it will not be this big, massive drama because, as I said, everyone will just say, yeah, well, the Oilers are banged up. So I'm going to say the Kings win this series in 6 games.
Yeah, I'm going to go Edmonton in 7.
Okay.
I've watched the LA Kings play the Toronto Maple Leafs this year. I'm sorry, I'm not impressed. I'm not impressed.
Not impressed.
I think they have a great record at home, whatever. If I had to pick two teams for the Maple Leafs to play in either conference, it would be the New Jersey Devils 1 and the LA Kings 2. I don't think they're a serious hockey team. I don't know. I think Edmonton just always has a little magic. They always get that. What does Edmonton lose in the first round? Never. I could see Edmonton winning this series, and then whatever team plays them in the next series, it's going to be easy pickings. They'll be out in the second round, but I don't buy the LA Kings as a serious hockey team.
I'm pretty sure they will. I'm pretty sure the winner of this series will play Vegas.
Yeah, and then they won't be able to handle that. Edmonton's not too banged up to go deep, but I just don't think the LA Kings are a serious hockey team. I don't.
Fascinating. Well, we're getting ready. We're getting excited to watch the first round of the Stanley Cup playoffs. Ryan and I will be back on Monday to review game 1 of the Leafs series. Most of the other games we'll be doing post-game shows immediately after, but this is the Easter weekend, spending time with family, going to watch the game with family on Sunday night. So we will be back on Monday to review game 1 of Leafs Sens. If you'd like to join us for that, hit the like and subscribe button below. As I said, we will be reviewing every single Leafs playoff game. If you're listening to the audio version, please do the same.
Spread the word. Tell your friends.
We really appreciate it. We will see you guys on Monday after game 1.